Hi friends, welcome back or welcome if you're new here. My name is Mali and welcome to a video that I've been looking forward to doing all year round. Today we're going to be tier ranking all the 100 books that I read in 2024. I am so excited for this video. I see these videos religiously every year and so stoked to be participating in my own this year. So I think I'm going to jump straight into it because I am so excited for this video and I have some over 100 books to talk about. Got my laptop here and I'm going to talk to you guys about the tiers. So the first tier that I have is Touched My Soul. The books in this tier are my 6-star ratings, and to be quite honest, I think there's only going to be one book in this tier. Books are going to be with me for the rest of my life type of thing. Like, these are books that I'm going to reread for the rest of my life. So there's only realistically one book in here, and that's fine. Next tier is Give Me 14 of Them Right Now. You know the TikTok sound? Spectacular. Give me 14 of them right now. This is what it's referencing, but these books are books that were my favorites of 2024. So you guys are getting a little sneak peek of the books that are going to be on my favorites of the year video, which is coming out sometime in January. I'm not going to be talking about the books too in depth in this video because I want to save my yapping for that big video I'm going to be doing. So I'm just going to put them in this tier and run. I'm not even going to say anything. The next tier is I Do Hereby Knight Thee. The idea of it is that, you know, when a queen knights somebody and it's like greatest honor, well, the books in this tier are like honorary mentions. These are books that were 4-star ratings or maybe a higher 3-star ratings. These are books that nearly made my favorites of the year list. And then I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I think it's self-explanatory. These are books that were kind of mid-tier. Maybe I had some high expectations for them and didn't quite meet them, and so they left me wanting more. And then I Should Have Been Kept in the Slush Pile. There is this term in publishing world where the slush pile means just every single manuscript an editor has to go through and read through and either accept or reject. This is not exactly a bad term, but for me personally, the books in this tier should have been kept in the slush pile, aka they should not have been published. And I don't know what whack-ass editor read these books and thought, let's give this one the green light, because honestly they should not have. And then I Will Rather Watch Paint Dry. This is quite honestly just my DNFs. These are books that bored me to death and I would rather do something else that's really boring than read these books. And the last category I have is These are books that when I was going through my Goodreads and seeing all the books that I read in 2024, these were books that I was like, I read these? So these are books that were kind of forgettable. I forgot what they were about. They were not memorable. Those are the 7 tiers that I'm going to be working with in this video. Let's jump straight into it. So the first thing I want to say is that when I uploaded all the book covers to the tier ranking list, it uploaded out of order, which really annoyed me, and I'm not going to do it again. So these are really just randomized. So the very first book on the list is The Wren. This is a book that I DNF'd. I didn't want to. I was really excited to read this because I read this back when I was really into Irish lit, but something about the writing I just didn't gel with. So this is going into I Would Rather Watch Paint Dry. This was a DNF for me. I did not finish this book and I do not think I ever want to. Next we have Mr. Salary by Sally Rooney. I like this one despite its short length, but it's really, really cool to see one of the very first Sally Rooney works that she ever did. I'm gonna put her here. It was really good. For such a short length, I really enjoyed it. I do love Sally Rooney's writing style. We have Happening by Annie Ernaux. This one of the last books that I read in December, and quite honestly, I read Annie Ernaux for the first time because I knew her books were so short, and at that point in December, I was only like 4 days away from 2025, right? And really wanted to hit my 100 books goal. I was like 3 books away or something like that, and I just wanted to be over with. I don't know, I was really, really tired of reading. At that point, I wanted a couple days break, and so I just read the shortest things available to me, and that was Annie Ernaux. Quite honestly, for how much I've heard about Annie Ernaux, I'm not gonna think about it ever again. I don't think it was very memorable either, so I'm gonna put it in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I think this is the one where she gets an abortion, and so I feel really bad that I'm putting it in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great because of the topic, but again, just I was expecting it to be much more emotionally impactful. I don't know. I was just expecting something different and did not give what I thought I was gonna give. Ooh, okay, the safe keep. I really like this one. I thought it was excellent. I love the sexual tension between the main characters. I love the longing, the desire. So I'm gonna put her in I Do Hereby 90. I thought this was really great. I personally gave it a 4-star rating. Foster by Claire Keegan. To be honest, this is my second Claire Keegan, and both times I've been wanting more. Again, with how much this author's talked about, how much she's put in the pedestal, how much people rave about her stories. I was expecting something more. It's just very, very quiet type of book. Honestly, it was way too short for me to have any type of emotional impact on me, so I was waiting for it to be great. Oh my god, 19 claws and a blackbird should have been kept in the slush pile. This was the worst short story collection that I have ever read. Nothing here stood out for me. I don't even remember the short story collection at all. So I, who have never known men, give me 14 of them right fucking now. I love that book. I think this book started my obsession with dystopian fiction. Just amazing, spectacular, loved her. Liars by Sarah Manguso. I like this one. It was good. Same old about motherhood and about a relationship that didn't quite work out. I'm gonna put her and I was waiting for it to be great because I wanted more from her. I read it during a 24-hour readathon and I thought it was really entertaining for what it was. Ooh, Time of the Flies by Clara Pinheiro. I really like this one. I'm gonna put her in I Do Hereby Night B. Her themes of motherhood and womanhood with like sort of a thriller type of genre or something like that. I love it. The Secret Life of Church Ladies. This was okay. This was a short story collection. It was just okay. I thought that the short stories kind of blurred together. There was one that stood out for me because it had father issues. Not to trauma dump, but I have father issues. Besides from that, all the stories kind of bleed into each other because they were so similar. Your Name should have been kept in a slush pile. I do not know what that was. I don't know how an editor read that and thought, yeah, this should be fucking published. I need more people to read this. No, baby. No, it should have been kept in a slush pile. Oh, another Irony or No. I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I was expecting more from her because of how much she's talked about, but I thought it was just okay. Martyr. This one hurts me, but I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I had such high expectations for this book because I thought it was gonna be like a favorite of the year. It was really raved about when it came out, and I thought it was good. You know, it had really beautiful sayings about martyrdom and living and dying. But at the end of the day, I was expecting something so much better than what it was. I was expecting something completely different. I was expecting to be blown away, and it just wasn't. There was also something at the end that just felt a little cheap for me. But yeah, I thought the writing was great. I will definitely be on the lookout for whatever Kaveh Akbar does next. I wanted it to be a favorite and it just didn't get there. Okay, next book is Bellies, and I am gonna put her in I Will Rather Watch Paint Dry. This book was so boring. I don't remember anything of it because I read it at the very beginning of the year, but I DNF'd this one, and yeah, I don't want to read that ever again. The Friend by Sigrid Nunes. I'm also gonna put her in I Will Rather Watch Paint Dry. I remember liking the writing style. I just didn't like where it was going with it. I will give Sigrid Nunes another chance. The Tyranny of Flies. I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I was expecting a lot more from it, but it was fun at the moment. It was just really weird as well. Honestly, it was mid-level. The First Batman by Miranda July. I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I read this one a little bit before All Fours, and it was my first Miranda July. There was something in the middle of the book that I didn't like at all, but then the ending of it was kind of like heartwarming, strangely. But yeah, as my first Miranda July, I didn't think it was her best, but All Fours for me was amazing. My Glue. I'm gonna put My Glue in Should Have Been Kept in the Slush Pile, and this is controversial for me because Oteja Moshfegh is one of my favorite authors, but this one was so bad. This should not have been published, especially since it was written from a white woman and it had so many slurs. A white woman should not be writing all these slurs, and it's just, I don't know, I didn't like the plot either. I didn't like any of the characters either, and yeah, should not have been published. La mala costumbre. This is translated to bad habit in English. I read this one in Spanish and I love this one. I'm gonna put it in I Do Hereby Knight Thee. This one was a 4-star rating for me. If you guys can get your hands on the English translation, I highly recommend. If you guys speak Spanish or you can read in Spanish, I do suggest that you read it in Spanish. An amazing story on girlhood from a young trans girl. I loved it. Sweet Days of Discipline. This is going in the section because I honestly forgot that I read this one. I could not tell you what happened. Something about girlhood, a boarding school involved. I don't remember. Parade by Rachel Cusk. I honestly forgot everything about this book. I am not going to lie. And it hurts me because I do like Rachel Cusk. But the thing about Rachel Cusk is that there is no plot at all. It's just a series of conversations. And her conversations, what she talks about, what she explores, are so intellectual. A lot about art and identity. And I do love it at the moment that I'm reading it. I'm finding that now I'm struggling to think back on this book. It hurts me, but I think I'm gonna put it in the section. This does mean that I could reread it and it'll be like I read it for the first time. Because again, I'm not saying that I didn't like this book. Kitten Tits. This one hurts me. This one hurts me. The blurb was there, the cover was there, the title was there. But honestly, this should not have been published. This should have been kept in a slush pile. Did not like this one at all. I did not like where the plot went. That was a mess. Oh, Autobiography of Red. I'm very sadly gonna put this one in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I had such high expectations for this novel because I know that so many people love it. Sadly, I'm not one of the girls that get it. I do want to reread this one in the future though. I don't know. It was beautiful, but as a whole, I didn't really get it. Normal Women. I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I read this one quite recently and I remember thinking that, oh, this is gonna be gay. It was not gay. If it was gay, oh my god, this would have been so good, but it was not gay. So I was waiting for it to be gay. Enter Ghosts. This one is like a Palestinian Shakespeare play retelling novel. I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great because I expected to love it. It's my fault because I have never really read Shakespeare, so I didn't get any of the Shakespeare references. I'm pretty sure that the Shakespeare play references a lot of the Palestinian conflict, and actually I don't like books on theater. There's a lot of pages where it just dragged on and on and on and on about them rehearsing the play. I was just quite bored in the middle of it. Brat. Honestly, this book should go in 2 different tiers. This book should go in, should have been kept in a slush pile because it should not have been published. And it also should have gone in I Will Rather Watch Paint Dry, aka I should have DNF'd it, but I didn't DNF it because I was stubborn. But I'm gonna put her in, should have been kept in a slush pile because what the fuck was that? How did someone read this and say, yeah, this makes complete sense, let's publish this? That was awful. Anyways, Cursed Bread. I love this one. I'm gonna put her in I Do Hereby Knight Thee. This was so sexy and alluring and sensual. And I just love a book that's about an obsessive, codependent LGBTQ relationship. I just eat that shit up. Next we have Betty by Tiffany McDaniel. I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I was expecting so much more from this novel because so many people love this one. I personally will put this one at the bottom of my own personal Tiffany McDaniel ranking list because I thought that On the Savage Side and The Summer That Melted Everything were much better than this one. Definitely not her most fucked up novel. On the Savage Side is something different. It's on another level of fucked up. Yeah, this one kind of let me down a little bit. I didn't know what to think of it. And to be quite honest, a little bit forgettable as well. Moving on, we have All My Puny Sorrows, and I'm gonna put her in I Do Hereby Knight Thee. I adore this one. I love this book and how tender and heartbreaking, yet how hilarious it was. I personally can't wait to read more Miriam Towles. I think if her other books are this way, I'm really gonna enjoy her as an author. Night Bitch. I'm gonna put her in should have been kept in the slush pile. This one was not good. Really boring type of book on motherhood, which I typically enjoy, and the whole premise of a woman turning into a dog sounded much better than it was executed in this book. Honestly, if the book was a short story, this would have held up a lot more, but it kept dragging on and the ending was just really, really bad. The Tree Doctor. I'm gonna put her in. This was a DNF for me, so I'm gonna put her in I Will Rather Watch Paint Dry. I think I DNF'd it because I was just not in a mood for it, to be quite honest. I will want to give her another chance. Ooh, next we have My Husband, and I'm gonna put this one in I Do Hereby Knight Thee. I love this one. I read this one almost compulsively in about 2 days time. And again, going back to the I love books about obsession, this book is about a woman who's obsessed with her husband in both a good way and a bad way. She obsesses about his every move and analyzes it to like, does this mean that he loved me? He's using his phone next to me. Does he even love me? I could have done without the ending, but I still really did enjoy this one. So yeah, it's going in there. Oh my god, Sunburn. This is also going in I Do Hereby Night Thee. Oh my god, so Sunburn is another book on obsession, but it's a very tender sort of obsession because it explores the first love between this girl and this other girl that she has a crush on. Beautiful novel on queer love. It was so good. I love this one. I love when queer fiction has a lot of allegories or like references, a lot of Catholic images and Catholic references and stuff like that. So this one had a lot of references to Susanna being like a god for a main character. I forgot our main character's name, but the love interest was Susanna, and there were so many passages where our main character was like, I would worship Susanna. I will get on my knees for her and worship her. I was like, yes, God! I love that book. Moving on, we have, the Dependency Trilogy. I like this one, but it dragged on in the middle for me a little bit. I was expecting to really, really enjoy it because I read it for a reading your guys' 5-star predictions for me. I really wanted to love it. I did enjoy it, but I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great because I was expecting it to be a 5-star rating and it wasn't. Oh my god, okay. Our Share of Night. This one, I did enjoy a lot of it, but is it an honorable mention? I'm not sure. But I was also not waiting for it to be great. I did read it with the expectation that it was going to be a 5-star rating and it wasn't that. So it did fall a little short, but I enjoyed so much of it. You know what? I'm gonna put her in I Do Hereby Night Thee. I think it was such a solid read and I did really like a lot of it. I just thought that it dragged on a little bit for me at the middle of it, but I personally gave it a 4-star rating, so I'm gonna put it there. Okay, next we have Margaret and the Mystery of the Missing Body, and I think I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I really enjoyed the first half of it. The middle half where she was in the clinic for something, some eating disorder. From that point on, it kind of dragged on a little bit for me and I didn't enjoy it as much the first half of it, where it was a lot like a Nancy Drew type of mystery. Oh my god, Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit. I'm also gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great because this was the third book that I read in that reading your guys' 5-star predictions for me. This was a book that I thought I was gonna really, really enjoy because it is a book that I typically will give 5-star because it had a LGBTQ relationship. It had that Catholic imagery because our main character was a Catholic woman, and it had themes of obsession, but the way it went to it, it was so fucking boring, and I just didn't like how it didn't go in depth into anything. Private Rights. I adored this book. This is going into Give Me 14 of Them Right Fucking Now. I'm not gonna go too much into it because it's gonna be on my favorites list, but love that one. Thirst. This is going in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I did not like this one at all. I did not like the second half of it. The first half of it was amazing and I wanted that the entire time, but then the second half of it, or the ending part of it, it definitely felt like two different books just smooshed together. It did not work for me. Oh my god, Lost in the Garden. This one should not have been published. This is going into the should have been kept in a slush pile tier because I don't know what fucking editor read this shit. They should revoke their reader card because what was that, babes? And how the hell did you not order for more editing rounds? Because this book should have been like 200 pages shorter. The editor has like the patience of a saint. I just got so frustrated reading the same fucking shit over and over again. Paradise. I honestly forgot about this book. Not forgettable because it was really intense. This is, oh my god, you guys don't know. This one is a really like a stream of consciousness type of novel. It has no page breaks, no nothing. You're really like immersed in the minds of these very toxic men and it's extremely misogynistic. They are breaking into someone's home with the hopes of basically raping the person, and I see a lot of critique on it of how misogynistic it is and how people can't believe that people are this misogynistic. And let me tell you something, baby, Latino men, they are that misogynistic, okay? They are like that. So if you're disgusted, it did its job. I don't know if I have a category for this one. I'm not Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put her and I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. Fernanda Melgol for me is a very intense type of author. I'm not sure that I enjoy her stories just because of how intense it is. The characters that she is writing about are so spot on, and I don't like reading about men like that, to be quite honest. Oh, Las cosas que perdimos en el fuego. This is translated to Things We Lost in the Fire. I really enjoyed the short story collection. I think I'm gonna put her in I Do Here by Nightly. I really did enjoy exploring Marina Enriquez's works this year. Nothing But the Rain. This was a dystopian novella. It was only about 90 pages or so. I really did enjoy this one. I think I am gonna put it though in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great just because it was so short and I would have wanted more from that world, more from a main character. But even though I say that, it was only 90 pages and I thought that it did so good in those 90 pages. I thought it really did tell a story from start to end, and the ending of that was insane. But again, because of that shortness, I was left wanting more. But I love the premise of this because the premise of this is that it's always raining in this world and the rain is like kind of toxic because if you touch the water or you touch the rain, you lose pieces of your memory. And that was so interesting to me that I want to read more. Fake accounts. I'm gonna put her and I will rather watch paint dry. I think I read like 10 pages of this. I was like, I cannot read this. I remember that this book spent like 3 pages explaining the interface of Instagram, like what each button does and where it is on the homepage. And like, baby, I use Instagram. I fucking know this. I don't need to read about it for 3 pages. Astral Season, Beastly Season. This is going in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. Enjoyed this one to some degree, but I thought that the second half of it was not so strong. But I like the premise of these two high school boys killing somebody for their favorite idol. The Accidental by Ali Smith. I am gonna put her in. Should have been kept in the slush pile. I thought this book was really, really pretentious, really boring, really weird. This was published all the way back in like the early 2000s, and I think that's when there was a lot of like manic pixie girl type of characters around, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like how she was portrayed. I thought everyone was really annoying. Whatever. I don't think Ali Smith is an author for me. Oh, this is Transit by Rachel Cusk. I'm having the same issue with Parade because it was just a series of conversations, and I think I only remember one conversation that she had. So I am gonna put her in I want you guys to know that just because I'm putting Rachel Cusk in this bottom tier here does not mean that I don't like her. I do think Rachel Cusk is so intelligent. I always feel so big-brained when I read her. The Butcher of the Forest. I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I don't remember anything about this novel. I'm not gonna lie. There's a little novella that I think that I read in December. It was really different than what I used to read because it's like a dark type of fantasy, folklore type of thing. And I was in the mood for it at the time that I picked it up. Felt a little bit out of my depth because I don't usually read that genre of like dark fantasy. It was very action packed. It was having a lot of issue like imagining all the action. I'm not usually reading about people running or doing things or doing big actions. So I really couldn't picture it. It didn't really do anything for me. I'm not going to lie. Oh my god. Then we have Passion Tide. I'm gonna put her, and this really hurts me, should have been kept in the slush pile. No, actually I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. No, that feels a lot better. I love Monique Graffy's The Mermaid of Black Conch, and the entire time I was reading it, I was like, oh my god, I love that I'm reading something by Monique Graffy, and oh my god, I'm so excited. But then it kept disappointing me, and I was so sad. I was so waiting for it to turn around for me and for me to love it, but I don't know how she managed to write about women suffering and femicide in such a fucking boring way. Oh my god, A Little Luck. I forgot that I read 2 Clara Pinheiro books this year. Okay, I'm also gonna put her in I Do Here by Nightly. I think all of her books are excellent. I really highly enjoyed all the Pinheiro that I read this year. The Feast. This is a classic that I read, and to be honest, I'm gonna put her in because I forgot that I read this. I think the main thing that happens is that at the end, a cliff falls into this little seaside resort or like motel, and quite a few people die, but you don't know who dies until the very end. The novel kind of goes back in time like a week before that happens, so you get to know the characters, and I think the idea of it was that you get attached to a couple characters, but I didn't get attached to any character, so at the end I didn't really care who died and who didn't. What is this? I don't remember the title of this book. I can only read the universe, so I don't remember the entire title. It said We Are the Universe. I'm gonna put her though, and I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. It was a anticipated 2024 release, and it was kind of like sad girl literature meets motherhood, and I like that idea of it. But as I've been saying lately, I think I'm really over the sad girl genre. I find that it's not doing much for me, and I wanted this one to do something for me, and it didn't really. I'm kind of struggling to remember back on this one. Moving on, we have This Thing Between Us. This one was a huge misunderstanding because I thought it was gonna be like AI type of, or like technology type of horror, and it wasn't that. I think I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great, because the actual horror was supernatural horror and not tech horror. And I did think the supernatural horror was a lot better. This one lost me towards the ending. I didn't like how it kept dragging on. The Memory Police. I think it's gonna kill me, but I'm also gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great, because I thought I was gonna love this one. I thought this was gonna be one of my favorites of the year, maybe. The way everyone talks about this book, I thought I was gonna adore it, and there were some things that were missing for me to really, really enjoy it. The Haunting of Hill House. This was fun, but I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I wanted more horror. I wanted more of the haunted house. I thought the atmosphere was really great, but there was a lot of conversations. Actually, I find that a lot of classics have a lot of conversations between the characters that I find kind of boring, but the actual like horror element was really strong for me. Let me zoom out. Oh my god, Perfume and Pain. Okay, this one is going in Give Me 14 of Them right fucking now, because I adore this book. I read this one in a day. Ooh, we have Annie Bot, also another good book, and I'm also going to put her in I Do Hereby Night Thee. I really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed the power dynamic. This explored a relationship between a AI robot that's supposed to be there for comfort, if you get what I mean, versus a human. And it was a really big power dynamic because the robot didn't really have autonomy, and her handler, her partner, or whatever, didn't really let her be fully herself. And it was really interesting to her power dynamic because she was there to fully serve the man. Oh my god, 100 Years of Solitude. That was pretty good, but I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. The reason why I'm putting this Nobel Prize book in my I Was Waiting for It to Be Great ranking is because this is a book that follows so many characters. You don't really get to know them. It's not even a character-driven story, it's a plot-driven story. So the characters are just there to serve the plot. And honestly, this was entertaining because it read like a soap opera. It felt like a television show. For me personally, I didn't get to know any of the characters, and I did not like that. I'm not saying this is a bad book. I'm not gonna say that Nobel Prize book is a bad book. I really did enjoy reading it when I was reading it. I don't remember this book. I did remember that it was really heartwarming at times, but I'm gonna put her in because I don't remember this one. Temporada de Huracanes. This is another Fernanda Melchor book. This is translated to Hurricane Season. I do not remember this book. I'm not going to lie. I also read it at a really bad time because I read it while I was traveling. And when I'm traveling, I can never really read. The only thing I remember about that travel was the fact that I was traveling. I don't remember the book that I was reading. So I'm actually going to put her in because I don't remember. Oh my god, The Hypocrite. This one should have been kept in the slush pile. I did not like this one at all. This was awful. Pink Slime. This one is going in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. Did not really like this one. This is kind of like a pandemic novel, but it was written before the pandemic. So this author completely predicted the pandemic, which was insane. But it was not even really about the post-apocalyptic feel of the novel after the pandemic. It was more about this woman's struggles with depression and grief and loss. I honestly thought it was going to be like a dystopian type of book because I was really in the mood for that type of book at the time that I picked this up. I really wanted to lean towards that direction. It leaned in a completely different direction that I did not really was wanting at the moment. If an Egyptian cannot speak English, this one is going in Give Me 14 of Them right fucking now. I love this book. That's where I'm gonna leave it at. Oh my god, All Fours also going in Give Me 14 of Them right fucking now. Vacuum in the Dark. This one's going in. They should have been kept in a slush pile. This is like kind of like the pre-sequel to Pretend I'm Dead by Jean Began, and it was so unnecessary. And I like Jean Began, so I was excited to read this one, but it was actually really gross, like even grosser than her other books. And I thought it was kind of given there as a kind of like shock value. And yeah, I just did not enjoy this one. I'm also really struggling on remembering what even happened in this book, so it could also go in the section because of that, but I honestly think it was so unnecessary. Oh my god, Sally Rooney! This is going in the give me 14 of them right fucking now. I want Sally Rooney to never stop writing. I am so excited to see what else she's working on. I can't wait for her newest release. Like, I know we just got one, but I want another release by her so bad. Oh my god, Monstrilio! I also love this one. I'm gonna put her in give me 14 of them right now. I love a horror that's actually an allegory for grief. Ooh, everyone knows your mother is a witch. I'm gonna put her in I Do Hereby Night Thee. I really did enjoy this one. It was really cool historical fiction about the witch trials in Germany, which I didn't know the witch trials reached Germany. Paradise Rot. I don't know where to put this one. I think I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for It to Be Great, just because it is so short and I want more from it. I love all the little details you can pull from this little novella. I love how gross it is, kind of. There's a lot of pee. I'm gonna put it out there. Do love the little LGBTQ relationship in here, a little bit of obsession there, but it is short. I want more. Reading this for a book club was really fun because of all the theories and all the discussions. It's a little bit nasty. That's all I'm gonna say. The Racial Incident. I'm gonna put her in I Do Hereby Night Thee. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. This one propelled my little obsession for Irish literature. I am more on the lookout for Irish lit. I am definitely open to keep exploring Irish lit because of this novel. Thing she got up with her friend James, I thought was really, really fun. I actually did like the exploration of platonic friendship in this one. I think that's a relationship we don't really explore in fiction, which is so weird for me. And let me tell you that I laughed so hard during this book. I really did enjoy it. The Most Precious Substance on Earth. I'm gonna put her in because I forgot about this novel. Oh my god, I just remember there was like two major plot points that happened that were kind of glossed over and not talked about for the rest of the novel. I was like, what happened? Moving on, we have Bad Cree. I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for It to Be Great. I did enjoy a lot of this one. It was like supernatural horror with an indigenous twist, and I liked that, but it kind of dragged on for me. Crooked Plow. I adore this one. I want 14 of them right fucking now. The Familiar. I forgot that I read this, but I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for It to Be Great. I was really excited to read a Leigh Bardugo that was a standalone fantasy and an adult fantasy at that. And it was really fun at the time that I was reading it, but it dragged for me a little bit and it lost steam somewhere between the second half and the third half. I did like the magical world of the novel and the atmosphere was really strong for me. But I will say that this had me giggling like a little schoolgirl. I liked the little romance between the main characters. That was really fun. But I was a little bit out of my depth because it's been such a long time since I read a fantasy novel. I remember reading the Leigh Bardugo novels when I was like a teen, all the way back in 2016. So the Six of Crows duology I've read. Crushing. Forgot that I read this. I'm gonna put her in Her Body and Other Parties. You guys are gonna hate me for this one, but I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for It to Be Great. This was a short story collection, and I honestly don't remember much about the short story collection, like at all. But the reason why I'm putting her here is because I really do like Carmen Maria Machado's writing. There are only like 2 or 3 that I enjoyed at the time that I read it, but right now I don't remember any of the titles. I'm just gonna leave her there. Red Grove. I do not remember this book like at all, so I could put her in the pile. But I do remember being quite frustrated while I was reading it, so I'm going to put her in. It should have been kept in a slush pile. Okay, then I have When I Sing Mountains Dance. I'm going to put her in I Do Hereby Night Thee. The uniqueness of this novel and why I liked it so much, because we got points of view from not only humans, but lightning, foliage, animals. I loved it. I loved how creative it was. I love this one. Okay, then we have Housemates. And I am going to put her in I Was Waiting for It to Be Great. I remember really enjoying the road trip aspect of the novel and the main characters in particular. But I remember not liking the point of view, like the narrative choice. I didn't like it because it was like third person and it was so detached from the main characters. I would have really enjoyed it if the narrative choice was one of the characters. Behind You is the Sea. Oh, this was a Palestinian short story collection, and I really enjoyed this one. I'm gonna put her in I Do Here by Nighty. I remember thinking that it was a really solid short story collection, and I really liked how the short stories are kind of interlinked because it followed this particular community of Palestinian Americans. Boy Parts. I hated this book with a fucking passion. This book should not have been published. This book should have been kept in a slush pile because what was that? Exalted. I'm gonna put her in, huh? Because I forgot that I read this book. I honestly don't remember anything about this book. And I read this one soon after I finished Perfume and Pain because I wanted to read more Anna Dorn. Rhaptopsy also should have not been published. I don't know what editor read this and thought, yeah, this makes complete sense. This lives up to the blurb, let's publish it, because this didn't. Sharks in the Time of Saviors, and I'm gonna put it in I Was Waiting for It to Be Great because I had such high expectations for this novel. There was something about magical realism and I was really in the mood for it. I know so many people love this book and I was expecting to love it as well, but I didn't like it at all. Bluebeard Castle, I am gonna put her in, huh? So much of this felt like a fever dream and it was really repetitive for some reason. I also read this while I was in New York City, and again, the whole thing that I really can't read when I'm traveling. Ordinary Human Failings, I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for It to Be Great. I really wanted to love this novel, but surprisingly, the fact that we spent so much time with the family is the thing that made me not like this novel, because I thought that the plot was really interesting and we got a lot of the characters, but now the plot, and I thought that if it had balanced out both of those things, it would have been a lot better. Then I have Oye, and I forgot that I read this one, but not in a bad way, because now that I saw it, I remember how much I enjoyed it at the time I was reading it. But I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for It to Be Great because I did forget that I read this one. This one had a really unique concept that I enjoyed at the time that I was reading it. I also thought it was really, really funny. But apart from that, it wasn't very anything interesting. It felt a little juvenile for my taste at the end of the day. Oh wow, I forgot that I read this one, and in a bad way, because I did not like this one. This is my work, and I'm gonna put her in. It should have been kept in a slush pile. It was so long for what it was. This is a book about motherhood. It had like journal entries and stuff like that. It also had medical records. I did not enjoy this one like at all. And I say that so sadly because I wanted to like this one. I wanted to really get into Olga Ravin. I have yet to read The Employees by her that I also really hope that I love. But since I had such a bad experience with this one, I've been holding off on that one. Pish Pit. This was a short story collection. And honestly, I forgot a lot of the short story collection. So I think I'm going to put her in the pile, and not one short story is jumping out at me right now. Evil Eye, I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. It was emotional for me at the time that I read this one, but to be honest, it didn't quite do anything for me. Salt Slow, I love this one. I'm gonna put her in I Do Here by Nighty. This is Julia Armfield's short story collection, and I thought the short story collection was really strong as a whole. There's also this short story I always remember. It just sticks out for me the most, and it's titled The Great Awake, and it's about people sleep physically leaving their bodies and like hanging around a sort of ghost. And I thought that was so unique. I love that one. The Adult. I'm gonna put her in, huh? Because I forgot that I read that. I'm not going to lie. Oh my god, the Murder of Black Conch. I'm gonna put her in Give Me Fortune of Them Right Fucking Now. I love that book. That's all I'm gonna say. Such a fun age. I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for It to Be Great. It was fun at the time I read it. The characters were such caricatures of themselves, of what they were supposed to be. And I found it a little bit to be on the nose. Oh my god, the Summer that Melted Everything. This one is going in the I Do Hereby Night the. I love this book so much with my entire soul and body. It's not a favorite of the year, but it was such an impactful and emotional read for me. This is definitely my favorite out of all the Tiffany McDaniel books. I felt so much for little Saul. Every time I think about Saul, I start tearing up. People Collide. I am gonna put this one in the section because I forgot that I read this one and I don't remember much about this one except that it was a gender swap. The Storm We Made. This one is in the I would rather watch paint dry because I DNF'd this one. Oh wait, I just remember she was featured in Pitch Pit, which I just put in the section. It was really similar to like a K-Min Chang type of short story, and so I was really excited to read a full-fledged novel by her, but this was historical fiction. It was very different type of vibe and genre to the short story that was in Pitch Pit. Not what I was looking for. I'm not really into historical fiction about wars. Priest Daddy. I also DNF this one, so it's also going. I will rather watch paint dry. I think I got really far in. I think I got like 40 to 50% in. I got bored. To be honest, I was really more excited to read this one because of the cover. Oh, another DNF. We have Worry. Could not do this one. This was so fucking boring. This book joins the sad girl genre. A woman who's always chronically online and nothing really works for her in her life. She's dissatisfied with everything in her life, and she obviously has mommy or daddy issues. So this book just did not work for me because I'm over the sad girl genre, especially when it doesn't fucking say anything new. This next one hurts me. This is the extension of Irina Ray, and I'm gonna put her in the I would rather watch paint dry. No, I'm gonna put her in Should Have Been Kept in a Slush Pile because what was that? It was so weird. I DNF'd this one. I didn't finish it, but I got like 40% in, which hurts me because I was so sad for the novel. But alas, we lose some. Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin. I don't know where to put this one. I read this one at the very beginning of the year. I remember this book, but I don't feel really strongly about it. So I think I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. Mr. Fox. I'm gonna put her in Should Have Been Kept in a Slush Pile. I unfortunately do not like Helen Oyeyemi despite my multiple efforts on liking her. There is something about her books that sounds so good, but then the execution is just so poor. It completely falls apart. I do not like it. I do not like how the blurb promised me something and then the actual storyline is something different than what the blurb said. I'm gonna try one more time because I got some books by her that I want to read, but I don't have a lot of high expectations for them. I'm not going to lie. Oh my god, interesting facts about space. I love this one. I love Emily Austen. So I'm gonna put her in I Do Hereby Night Thee. The Book of Geese. I did not like this one. I'm gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. So many people compare this book to My Brilliant Friend because it does follow a friendship between two girls. But this book could not have been more different than My Brilliant Friend. In fact, it is such a disservice to compare it to My Brilliant Friend. And because of the comparison, I didn't like it at all. Because I had that comparison in my head while I was reading it. It just did not live up to the expectations at all. Chouette. You know what? I'm gonna put her in the section. And I remember really liking it, but I don't have a lot of strong opinions about it. And I don't really remember anything else detailed. Poor Dear. I am gonna put her in I Was Waiting for You to Be Great. I was really expecting to like this one. The Postcard. I forgot that I read this. I'm gonna put it in the section. Oh my god, we're on the very last book, and this book is a little weird. This book is going straight to the very top. This is going in the Touched My Soul section because this book, I'm not gonna say too much of it because I'm gonna talk about it in my favorites of 2024 video. When I say this book changed my life, this changed my life. This book, oh my god, it touched my soul. It's a book that I will think about forever. I think it's a book that I will reread for the rest of my life. It is my most highlighted and annotated and dog-eared book ever. It is so special to me. A book about being so grateful for life and all the little wonders of life. Jenny Slate's perspective is like a little child's, but like not in a cringe way. It's just so wondrous and it's just a book full of whimsy. Let's just leave it at that. It's a whimsical little book and I loved it so much. So we finished this tier list. I think this was pretty good. This didn't go that bad. I was actually really nervous for some of the books. I think this gives a quite accurate presentation of how my reading year went. And so yeah, I think I had a fantastic reading year. I had so many books that I loved and that I will think about forever. So that is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for being around. If you guys did a video like this, please let me know so I can go and watch it. I love videos like this. Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye.